So in this video, I want to go over my top 3 exercises for biceps and my top 3 exercises for triceps, okay? As you'll see throughout the theme throughout this entire section of the masterclass video series is that when it comes to building muscle, it's all about time under tension, right? It's all about establishing a mind-muscle connection versus trying to move as much weight as humanly possible, right? It is critical, your form when you're performing these exercises is paramount, it's critical, and that's what will really help you build muscle much faster when you focus on your form, when you focus on establishing that mind-muscle connection versus simply trying to move as much weight as possible and using pretty much every muscle possible. So again, in this video, I want to go over 3 of my staple kind of bicep exercises, 3 of my staple tricep exercises, and with arms, it's one of those muscle groups that are a lot smaller than obviously your chest or your glutes or your back, and so you're able to hit them a lot more often throughout the week because you're able to recover a lot faster. So if you are someone like me, I had small arms for a very long time, and arms was kind of one of my weak points. So if you're like me and you struggle with building biceps and triceps, then I would suggest hitting them more frequently, right? Even going from maybe once a week to 2 or 3 times a week makes a massive difference in how much volume you're accumulating on the working muscle, the bicep and tricep, which will really help expedite how much muscle you can build. So that's what we're gonna be going over in this video. Top 3 exercises for biceps and top 3 exercises for triceps, and we'll start off with biceps. So first one is obviously the dumbbell bicep curl. Staple exercise, most of you guys have done this, very basic and easy one to do, but there are a few things that I want you guys to focus on to help increase the tension on the biceps, okay? So when you are doing a bicep dumbbell curl, one, obviously you want to keep your back, your torso straight. A lot of people kind of swing their entire body to move the weight. If you're doing that, the weight is too heavy, okay? Decrease the weight, make sure your upper body is still, and just have your biceps working, okay? You just want to, again, the key here is you just want to isolate the bicep and not use your entire body to move the weight, okay? So next tip I want you to focus on is try at the top of the rep. At the top of the rep, instead of just kind of like curling like this, try and have your pinky higher than your thumb. Because like even if you just watch my bicep here, like go here versus here, right? Here versus here. You can see my biceps a lot more engaged when my pinky is above my thumb. Okay, so that's maximal engagement. Again, you're here versus here. You can see in my biceps, it's getting a lot more engaged. So those are 2 of the biggest things to focus on to put more tension on the working muscle. So I'll do a few reps and you guys kind of watch me perform the exercise. So from the side as well. So again, pinky over thumb, hold and squeeze. And squeeze. And squeeze. And one last thing I want to emphasize with bicep curls is controlling the negative, right? A lot of people do bring it up and they just let it fall, let gravity do all the work. You want to control the negative because there's obviously 2 parts to any movement: the concentric, which is the up, and the eccentric, which is the down. And it works different muscle fibers. So it is important to obviously have good form going up, but also control the weight going down. So the next staple bicep exercise that I've been doing for the last several years is obviously the cable bicep curl, okay? Fairly simple to execute. There are a few things that I want to highlight when doing this movement. So first things first, I love doing a cable version, or so at least one cable exercise when I'm working my arms, because the nice thing about cable is you get constant tension throughout the entire movement, right? On the concentric as well as the eccentric, as I just touched on with the dumbbell curls. So with this, the most important thing is having your elbows by your side. So keep your elbows by your side. Again, bring up, and then the most important part here is squeeze. Squeeze really hard your biceps. If you're able to squeeze the muscle, flex the muscle, then you establish my muscle connection, right? So you go up, squeeze, and then again, control the negative. Squeeze, don't just drop it like that. Go up here, squeeze, and then control the negative. Squeeze, down. that's pretty much it. So going off of the bicep cable curl, if you're someone that's a little bit more advanced, you have a few more years of training on your belt, this is one that I love to do. Again, it's a little bit more advanced, so if you're a beginner, I would recommend starting off with the standing bicep curl, perfecting the form there. But once you're kind of more advanced, I would suggest trying this variation of it because it is it's much more difficult, but you're also getting a lot more tension even with the same amount of weight on your biceps. So with this one, you're using the cable row machine. Basically what you do, put your feet here, grab the bar, and you're gonna lean all the way back, and then basically just curl to your chest. So bring the bar here, all the way to your chest, and then squeeze. Up, and squeeze. And you'll notice here, there's way more tension on your biceps, just because of the position you're in. So up here, squeeze, and control on the way down. Here, again, squeeze, making sure you're squeezing, controlling the way down. Yeah, give that one a shot. It's definitely much harder than the standing cable version, but for me, it's more effective. I get a lot more tension, and it fatigues my biceps much quicker. And the third and final staple bicep exercise that I pretty much incorporate on all my arm or bicep workouts is some sort of incline seated dumbbell curl, okay? This one, again, places a lot of tension on the bicep. It eliminates your cheating throughout, because when you're standing, obviously when you're standing, you're able to cheat a lot easier by moving your whole upper body. When you're seated, that takes it away, right? So I always love to do this, kind of finish off my bicep workout when they are already fatigued. And with this, it is quite simple to do. Obviously, I prefer an incline bench versus just a seated like this, because it is a little bit harder, a little bit more advanced. Again, if you're someone that's new, I would suggest just a regular seated bicep curl. And again, if you're someone that's more advanced, one of my favorites, this one, is a incline seated bicep curl. So with this, quite easy. Grab the dumbbells, of course, and then here, bring it up, squeeze. Again, making sure your pinky is higher than your thumb. And then really lower the negative, control the negative, come down, up, and squeeze. Control the negative, up, and squeeze. With this one, it's really important to control the negative. Don't just let it drop like that. One, you can injure your bicep, and it's completely not activated when you just let it drop. But come up here, and really control the way down, right? Up, squeeze, and control the way down. So again, that one is great to finish off the workout when your biceps are already fatigued, because it takes, especially when you're seated, it takes away the possibility of cheating through your reps. So those are my three of my staple exercises when it comes to biceps. Now let's hop over and move on to the triceps, okay? With triceps, similar to biceps, it is a smaller muscle group. So if you have someone that struggles with weaker triceps, or someone that wants to grow their triceps, it is totally okay to work them more often. Again, they can recover faster than, for example, your bigger muscles like chest or your glutes or your back. And so again, I would recommend hitting them 2-3 times a week if it's a weak part for you, okay? So my first staple exercise when it comes to triceps, all-time favorite, of course, is skull crushers, okay? There's a few different variations that you can do with this. Flat bench, there's the single dumbbell or incline bench, and I'm gonna show you the incline bench version, because for me, that's the one that I feel the most activation with, right? So with basically any exercise, obviously there's tons of variations for every single muscle group. My recommendation is to do the one that you feel the most, right? Maybe with you feel the flat bench more than an incline bench. Really, it's really trial and error, whatever you feel more of, and as long as you're getting the form right, that's all that matters. So with this, again, you're gonna grab, my recommendation is grab some sort of easy bar, because the grip is a lot easier versus a straight bar, okay? So once you grab the weight, you're gonna sit, again, I've got an incline bench going. The number one tip with this is to keep your elbows in. You see a lot of people have their elbows flared. That's where you get that tennis elbow, you get that tennis pain, and you're not even hitting the triceps to the full extent, okay? So really make sure your elbows are in, you're gonna engage the tricep a lot more, and it's gonna be a lot safer for your elbow, okay? So you grab the weight, come back, lift, And then again, making sure instead of here, your elbows are in, okay? And then go back. I go behind my head for a full range of motion. Here, up, squeeze. Go down, up, squeeze, okay? Again, elbows in. You do not want to go like this. This is dangerous, okay? I'm not even gonna do it because it's dangerous. You want to keep your elbows in, up, and squeeze. So that is my #1 recommendation. If you're someone that struggles with elbow pain, it is critical to keep your elbows in, as well as to maximize time under tension, to keep your elbows in on your triceps. So that's my go-to, my staple exercise to build actual mass. This and kind of close grip bench press, which I'll show you guys in the next one. So as I just mentioned, the next staple exercise that I've been doing for years to build mass on your triceps is the close grip bench press, okay? The key word here is close grip because we're not working our chest, we're isolating and working our triceps, okay? So with this one, it's all about, again, keeping your elbows in, because the closer your elbows are on a bench press, the more tricep you're gonna be working. The farther apart your elbows are on a bench press, the more chest you're gonna be working, okay? So again, this is all about triceps. And so my biggest recommendation, my biggest tip with this is, again, to keep your elbows like right by your side, okay? So you're gonna lean back. So instead of doing the normal bench press grip, I would bring it right, you wanna come a little bit closer, right to this kind of gripping point. Keep your hands like right here. So rather than gripping here for normal bench, I would come right here, grip it here, and then you're gonna go up. And then again, try to bring your elbows right by your side. So here, and you go down, all the way down, and up, and down. And notice I don't fully extend like that, right? Come down here, chest, and then I stop here. Because here, there's still tension on my triceps. Here, there's none. So I'm almost like giving my triceps a break here. So my recommendation, again, it really depends on how advanced you are. If you want to make it more challenging, don't lock out. Come here, and then stop here. Control the negative, up, and then stop here, versus here, okay? So again, this is a bigger tricep movement. So this and skull crushers are probably my go-to in terms of really fatiguing and overloading your triceps, because the other more smaller tricep movements like the cable, like the dumbbell skull crusher, or anything cable related is obviously a much smaller movement, and it's harder to overload the triceps on. So now we'll go over to a cable exercise that I love to do in the next clip. And the third and final staple tricep exercise that I pretty much do on every tricep or arm workout is some sort of cable variation of a tricep extension, right? I usually save this one for the end, my last tricep exercise, because again, I like to do something like the close grip bench press or the skull crusher, because I can overload my triceps a lot easier with that. I typically like to finish off with some sort of cable variation, because with cable, you're able to kind of squeeze and get more of contraction and establish more of a mind muscle connection versus the bigger movements where it may be more difficult to establish the same level of mind muscle connection, okay? So with this, again, the biggest thing is keeping your elbows by your side, fully extending, and making sure you're flexing every single rep, okay? So you're here. I would suggest, if you're someone that's new, a lot of people like just kind of stand completely upright and just go like this, okay? I recommend leaning slightly forward, because here you're able to kind of like make the tricep straight, and you're able to kind of get more tension on the tricep. So instead of going here, try kind of leaning a little bit forward, and then bring your body weight forward, and here you're able to kind of get more tension on the tricep. So again, elbows in, you don't want to be out here, elbows in, here, and most important part is really squeeze. I would even hold it for a second or two at the bottom of every round. So here, down, squeeze, and squeeze. Now, if you are someone that is, again, more advanced, someone that wants to change it up a bit and get even more of a contraction with this exercise, instead of doing one, try doing two. So grab two of these ropes, so kind of fully extend like that, Grab another one, same thing. And this one, you're able to kind of really go all the way back and get the full maximal contraction on your triceps. So it's the exact same movement pattern. You're here, and then you can go, instead of going here, you're able to go even behind your back, all the way back here. And you'll notice you're able to kind of contract, especially here, and stretch and squeeze a lot harder than versus just going down here, okay? Here, bring it back, full squeeze, really making sure you're squeezing every rep. So I would even hold it for a second or two at the bottom, just really getting that full squeeze. And yeah, that one is, I would recommend if you're someone that wants to switch it up, or someone that's more advanced and kind of wants to, again, once you're able to establish that mind-muscle connection, then I would try something like that, because the mind-muscle connection, the squeeze is a lot stronger when you're kind of farther back behind your back. So that concludes this video. Hope you guys enjoyed my top 3 staple exercises for bicep and my top 3 staple exercises for triceps. We'll see you here in the next